This is episode 34 of Hardly Qualified, Syria-sly for September 13th, 2013. Have you ever sat around in a pub and chatted into the wee hours of the night? Ever considered the world in ways you've never before thought about, and then shared it with your friends? Welcome to Hardly Qualified, a weekly podcast recorded in Calgary, Alberta, where Will Connor and his friend Ducky get together to wax philosophical about whatever suits their fancy. With the occasional guest, they discuss society and culture, following random threads of thought wherever they may lead. So pull up a chair, grab a drink, and join the conversation, because you never know, you might be hardly qualified too. Let's get started.
And we is back for another week filled of mirth and joy and lots of people killing each other, I guess.
Mirth? Nobody comes to see us for mirth.
Well, people laugh.
I guess that's what people laugh at us. Because we're such goofballs.
Nobody knows
I know, right?
the sorrow I feel. I don't even know what the words of that song.
I don't know.
That's okay. It's really not relevant. So, yeah. Nick is back with us. Hi, Nick.
Hey.
In the middle channel.
Hello, Nick.
Nudge, nudge. You keep putting me in the wrong place.
How are you guys?
We're doing fine. I finished moving, so I'm in my new place.
Yes, what an adventure that was. 12 hours. I still have your broadsword in the back.
Yeah, I was looking for it through all my stuff. I'm like, why is my sword not here? I guess we know why now.
No, I'm holding it ransom for your helping.
Yeah, the whole $76 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
This might have been mentioned earlier, but where did you move to?
Abbeydale.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Edgemont to Abbeydale, and I work in Crowfoot, so... For people who don't live in Calgary, that's like... I lived in the northwest, and I worked even north or west than where I lived, and I moved to the far east edge of the city.
Yeah, you're 50 kilometers from where you were.
Yeah.
So that's far.
It's a ways, yeah. I got to take I worked for the first time after moving last night, and I got to take transit there and back. And, I have to leave my house at 8:30, quarter to 9, in order to get to work.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah, by 11. So... And then I left work at 7:30 this morning. I didn't get home till almost 10 in the morning.
Oh.
Plenty of podcast listening time.
Yeah,
Or reading.
I read. Readings.
Or staring at strangers and judging their nose hair.
How dare you hold your hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So you know our little search log game that we started,
Yeah.
right? This the best one out of this week was discomforting public displays. So
What, that was on...
you guys need to be more creative.
Who'd you flash?
What? Somebody was flashed?
Yeah, didn't any of you flash anybody? You said discomforting public displays.
No.
Oh no. We have a game now, sort of, where we're asking our audience, our listeners, you people with the earphones and the sound coming and hitting the drums and making the noise, to Google whack us and try to do it as creatively as possible. And how you do that is you just put in a phrase into Google and see if it comes up with our site. And if it does, click on it, and it registers in our server logs. And
Can you do, like,
Motion
funny
51
phrase
is-
plus hardly qualified, or is that cheating?
well, you probably could. I don't know. Somebody would have to do it. So, somebody else I don't think really got the game and put hardly qualified game. Although, if you think about it, that is kind of funny. Discomforting public display is probably more like an actual topical thing, whereas hardly qualified game is some smart ass taking it just way too freaking literally.
Yeah.
Darn you all, darn you! So,
Yeah. So, I'm in my new place, and I'm in my bedroom now because the basement where I'm supposed to have all my computer equipment is not ready yet. And so I've got my powerhouse nuclear reactor of a computer pumping out 35-degree air into a room whose window doesn't have a screen. So, and there's no breeze anyway. So it's quite warm in here right now. Oh, look,
yeah, the city's warning of possible rolling blackout, so
look at the sacrifices I make for you people.
there you go. Oh, please. Please.
Hey, I could go back to bed, you know.
I could go back to bed, too. Nick could go back to bed. The listeners could go. Well, you know what? Why don't we just cut it right here? Thanks for coming
see
on.
you guys next week.
Alright,
Sorry, Nick?
hardly qualified. Siesta time.
So,
We don't know what we're doing so bad that we can't even put together, like, more than 10 minutes. Oh, no, I think we're even, like, at 5 minutes of a podcast.
yeah. Our regular guests who were supposed to be here today decided to bail on us, so we're
Both of
of
them.
them. For shame. You've been
Yeah,
scheduled for
for
freaking
shame.
2 months. You both bail? What the hell?
Boo, hiss, hiss, hiss.
What?
Hiss. Hiss.
Yeah.
Boo. I flick my teeth at you.
I bite my thumb at thee.
Oh, that's what it is, right. Yes.
But,
Whatever. My Shakespearean insults are... Shakespeare had some amazing
you sure
insults.
did.
I think that it would be the highest compliment to be insulted by that man.
Yeah, the amount of
Like what?
brain power that he would have to use to come up with something really talks about how much he values making you cry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I'd do that too if I was a genius.
Well, I don't think Shakespeare was a genius, but he knew how to talk about people.
Well, and it's that sharp rapier wit, you know, that one of my favorites is, "I do desire we may be better strangers." You know, it's that type of.
Yeah. But I mean, he was an author, right? So he had time to think about this stuff. It's not like he was doing it in rap battles.
This is
Right,
true.
so-
This is true.
But,
There's some really interesting rap battles.
Yeah.
It's like I've been attempting some, and you know, if you're a noob and you go and you go for it, you think you're you're like confident, you bust out some lines, and then the next guy comes in and he just completely annihilates you.
Yeah.
And then you go back to your hole and with your tail in between your legs, and you just go like, well, that was fun.
Let's get better, or time to go home.
Yeah. But like they do have a way with words, and it's
Wordsmiths. That's one of the things. Like, I've been a fan of Eminem for a while, and when he made that 8 Mile movie, that was really the first glimpse that I ever had into that sort of subculture. And I have to admit, it was really good to see, even if it did have Brittany Murphy in it. So
yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't seen 8 Mile, go see it. It's a good story.
No, I don't think I've never seen it.
It's kind of like a pseudo autobiographical story of Marshall Mathers, Eminem. Yeah, Eminem. But it's also partially fictional. Like it's like based on a true story. So I don't know. It's a good movie either way, despite Brittany Murphy. So
Brits.
You say Eddie Murphy?
Brittany Murphy.
Oh, Brittany.
She plays his love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the only scene that I remember her of was when she was fucking him in their automotive plant that he worked at, or factory or whatever. But other than that, she's utterly forgettable. So, but I mean, it's Brittany Murphy. Does anybody know who I'm talking about?
No.
I'm just googling her right now.
She was really big for a little while back in the day, like back in the mid '90s, late '90s, early aughts. I don't know why.
Clueless.
Maybe I
In
don't.
the Hills, Sin City.
Yeah, she was one of the hookers in Sin City.
Hmm.
Remember the crazy hookers that were like attacking the cops that were driving through Hooker Town?
You know who else was a crazy hooker? That chick from Clerks too. I was watching that yesterday.
Haven't seen Clerks 2 in a while.
Rosario
Dawson? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff now. She's fairly famous.
You know, I want to say we should get back on topic, but I don't think we've really established
Yeah,
it.
we were like, what are we going to talk about, guys? I don't know, we could talk about Syria. I don't know anything about Syria. Yeah, me neither. Okay. What else do you guys want to talk about?
That's a perfect impression.
So,
It's totally what it was like, too.
yeah. What do you want to do? Oh, no.
All my notes and research and everything for this episode, I've had it shelved for like another month or two before we can.
What do you want to do?
Reschedule.
I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you
Hey,
want to do?
she died.
Who died?
Aw.
Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy died? Oh.
Yeah.
For she's a jolly
Was
good
it
girl,
drugs?
she's
Was it
jolly-
drugs? I wouldn't be surprised.
It's always
I wouldn't be
drugs.
surprised if it was drugs.
I'm gonna go with heroin.
Heroin? I don't know. She looks like a crackhead to me. It could be heroin, though.
How, like, freaking
Wouldn't it be funny if it was like,
bored
well,
are we?
maybe that's why she hasn't made anything in a couple of years.
There's your problem.
Yeah.
There's
So-
there's Angry Duck just like, damn that Brittany Murphy. Hope she doesn't show up in that next movie I'm trying to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully she doesn't.
Unless it's a
That'd
zombie movie. Can you imagine zombie Brittany Murphy? I guess
drug
like I said, I mean, I thought she just stopped making movies because people realized she was so terrible.
be.
But no,
Wait, that Heath
apparently,
Ledger guy.
apparently she
probably
sucks
the
at
same
being
thing.
alive, so.
Yeah.
You know, I'm alienating somebody out there right now who's like a hardcore Brittany Murphy fan.
Hey, speaking of alienating, I watched Alien the other day too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The first one?
The first one.
Yeah.
And
From 1977.
You know what? It was overhyped. Like a lot of hate from this, but you know what? It's overhyped. I was expecting more. I
Well,
was really expecting more, like, cause it was the first time I watched
40
it
years
ever.
old, dude!
No, but hear me out, okay? I was expecting a lot from it, not in terms of effects, but since I watched it for the first time in ever, and it's an old movie, and everybody keeps recommending it, just like, what's it called, Star Wars or some other old movies and stuff, and they keep recommending it, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. So I watched Alien yesterday with my couple friends, and this whole time I'm like, this is another stupid cheerleader movie, you know?
It's not
Kinda like
another,
that.
it's the first.
Yeah.
That's what makes
do
it
you
so
mean, man?
groundbreaking. Right? I mean, you have to look at it
everything-
in its setting, in its context. This was 1977. Right? I mean,
Well, technically, Prometheus is the first.
well, not really.
Let's not go there.
It's a side.
In the timeline.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Chronologically, it takes place before.
Well, yeah, according to the
But-
fiction, yeah.
But, we're not gonna,
Yeah,
we're not
By
gonna
the way,
talk
Brittany
about
Murphy died
Prometheus.
from, like, prescription medications.
From what?
Yeah.
Acetaminophen and hydrocortisone and Vicodin.
Oh, are we talking about Brittany Murphy now?
Yeah. And methamphetamine.
Methamphetamines, yeah. I told you it was drugs.
Anyway, she's kind of pretty looking. But back to Prometheus.
It's kind of
You know what's
trashy.
a weird? You know what's a weird name? Sigourney Weaver. Like, she changed her name for that.
Well, she's an
Yeah.
actress. A lot of them do that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just a weird name.
You think Angelina
No,
Jolie's
no
real name
offense
is
to any
Angelina
listener
Jolie?
whose name is Sigourney, but yeah,
But,
it's a weird name.
a lot of them do that.
Well,
Right.
I wonder what she was born as.
Susan.
Susan Alexander Weaver.
Yeah.
So you can't blame her parents. So,
Well, you know, I wonder how Cher came out with Cher.
yeah. I mean, like, there's lots of names like that, though, right? Like, look at Madonna. She wasn't born Madonna. She chose it.
Well, Cher, isn't that French for deer? As
No,
in like
that's Cherie.
deer something or
Cherie, you're thinking.
or
Oh, it's actually short for Sherilyn. So there you go.
Huh.
This is the let us Google that for you episode. Do you know anything about this? No, let's find out.
Browsing
Let's talk
IMDb.
Let's talk about Prometheus, because Ducky and I saw Prometheus together. I mean, we were in the same theater, we just didn't realize it until afterwards. And at the time, we kind of ripped into it and thought it was like the worst movie ever.
The more we thought about it, the worse it was.
But as a movie, I would probably agree with that. But if you look at it as an integrated media experience, it's actually pretty brilliant. If you take in the marketing, the TED Talk, the fake TED Talk, the websites, it all actually ties the narrative together, and it makes a lot of sense at that point. But the movie on its own, see, here's the thing with Prometheus. If you showed up and you hadn't done the homework, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But if you've actually followed the marketing prior, then things would start clicking.
I don't agree with that. I think it's almost completely opposite. If you go in to the movie, I think the reason that a lot of us were disappointed with Prometheus was because we had those expectations. Movie Bob I read The Escapist a lot. It's an internet, pop culture video gaming magazine. And, I've been going through Movie Bob's archives, and I saw his one on Prometheus, and he makes a lot of good points about how if you don't go into the movie thinking of it as an alien movie or whatever, it's actually not a bad movie. There's plot holes, of course, and there's just like, are you fucking kidding me moments? Like, giant donut-shaped spaceship rolling after you, you don't run away, you run to the
taking
side.
your helmet off.
Yeah, but if you're panicking, you're not necessarily thinking logically. I mean, they've had a pretty traumatic experience. They just...
Panicking.
But, if you're a
People
xenobiologist,
do stupid things all the
you don't go, pet something. Like, you should know better, right? You're a geologist, you don't lick angry alien rocks. I mean, it's just, these are things that people, like the characters in the story, are supposed to be smarter than the average person in the audience. And when they're doing things that are even stupider than some moron in the audience would know better than to do, I mean, it's hard to take those characters seriously. But
So, could I ask you guys a question?
No.
Okay, I'll ask it anyway. You've seen Alien
Yes.
before seeing Prometheus.
yes.
I've seen it. I did that the other way around. Actually, Prometheus is what inspired me to watch Alien, or like.
Well,
Hype
other
me.
than having the same director, there's very little about them that are alike.
Well,
Right.
I'm just saying. It inspired. I felt it was a good movie, or I enjoyed the movie. I understand that taking your helmet off in like a weird place is probably not a good idea, and they've done several things that I would point out and say, this is incredibly stupid. But considering after I watched Alien, I'm not surprised that these people are actually stupid, because I think this company or these companies that send people to space are actually a bunch of morons in general, and you have to keep in line with the Alien movies to understand why Prometheus was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't National Academy of Sciences people. They're scientific mercenaries, really.
Yeah.
They're grad school dropouts.
Well, I don't know. Aliens was still the best one of the entire series, in my opinion.
I'll be watching that soon, and I hope you're right.
Wait, have you not seen any of the Alien movies ever?
No, I've seen Prometheus, and I watched Alien just like
Well,
2 nights ago.
Prometheus isn't really an alien movie, so
It is.
it's in the same universe, but the story arcs are very tangentially.
Okay,
It's
I'm
a
not
setup
s-
to Alien.
I'm not saying they're the same kind of movies, but you can't deny that they are kind of like
They're
the
related.
same. They're
They're
related, yeah.
distant
like
cousins of one another.
They're cousins,
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I'm going through this whole family genre of alien movies, and I just started at Prometheus, going to Alien, and Aliens is next.
Yeah.
And I hope you're right. Otherwise, I will find you in what's it called, Abigail or whatever.
In Abigail?
Yeah.
What-
I'm hiding out in
Gotta find
Abigail.
somebody named Abigail
I
first.
hope nobody tells Abigail, though, because I don't see like
Well,
it if I was hiding inside.
wherever you're living, and I'll find you. And
Are you
I'll
really
be very
threatening me? Are
disappointed.
you threatening me with physical violence?
no, I didn't say physical. Who said that? Why would I say that over air?
He said he'll find you, and then he'll just stare.
Hey,
You
you
said
know what?
Aliens was good.
Have you seen that painting that inspired the alien look? Like the actual
Yeah,
composition
you mean
of
it-
the
it-
alien?
Okay, hold on,
H.R.
hold on,
Geiger?
hold on. Before you get... Yeah, stop. I just wanted to throw one thing out there.
Just
Because I've been trying to get a squeak in, and you guys haven't let me.
Well, that's because I'm having a very thorough talk with Angry Duck about the consequences of disappointing me. So anyway, continue.
Would you prefer that I just left the room and came back?
Well,
I just wanted to point out, for those who would like to maybe try to figure out what I'm talking about when I say that Prometheus isn't actually as bad as you may have thought it was. I mean, it's still not great, the most cohesive or coherent movie around, but Twin Perfect did about a half hour, it's on YouTube, called Prometheus Actually Explained, and they're movie reviewers. They will often go through and kind of talk about movies and explain them to people who weren't really getting it. And so they spent about half an hour going through a lot of the common complaints and criticisms of the movie and explaining why they actually do make sense in the context of the story. And I found it really, just watching it, like, Ducky, everyone we talked to afterwards were like, yeah, this is a waste of money, don't bother go seeing it, it's the dumbest thing ever. It was Ridley Scott high. But after watching this, the Twin Perfect video, it really changed my opinion of it. So I would encourage you to give it a chance. At least take a look at it and see if it doesn't change your opinion.
Yeah. Movie Bob did the same thing. Might be worth a second look.
No, but I watched Movie Bob, though. He basically said the same stuff that we were saying. But
You watched
anyway,
Movie Bob, too?
So, Nick, you were threatening Ducky?
Okay, I'm over it. You know what? I think we're best friends now.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, with the Alien series, Alien was... I mean, it may not stand up now, but it's still a pretty good movie, and at its time, it was incredibly groundbreaking. Right? It's the archetype that started the whole series of movies that follow in its footsteps, right?
Such as?
Well, it's a slasher horror flick in a spaceship, right? I mean, Event Horizon is a good one. What's the other one? The one with the ship that's like really long and they go out and they find it and I can't remember. But I mean, there's lots of, like, it's one of those archetypes of monster picks off crew members one at a time locked in a spaceship, right?
Right.
And I think we should blame it for Doom.
No, Doom predated it.
No,
it didn't.
Are you kidding, The Rock?
No, he means the Doom movie, not the Doom video games. And the Doom movie we can talk about some other time because it's oh so wrong and oh so right all at the same time.
Oh.
But yeah, so Alien 3 was disappointing. Aliens 4 was not much better.
Predator versus Alien.
Aliens 4 is the resurrection one, right? Which was it's great if you look at it as a comedy. If you recognize it as a comedy, it's not a bad movie. If you go into it expecting it to be serious survival horror, it fails utterly. But it's a good dark comedy.
So kind of like Shaun of the Dead.
I guess. I haven't seen Shaun of the Dead in years, so it's hard to make comparisons. So I don't remember very much about it.
You know what?
What happened to your omnipotence? Right.
It's too hot.
Okay. It really freaking is, man.
This is Canada. We always get all our baking heat in like September and October.
1 week.
I mean,
like 15 days of
well, more than that. I mean, it's usually not until Halloween that the snow comes.
Yeah, but then it comes.
Yeah. Then it doesn't go away until March.
It's like, what are you underneath your snowsuit?
I know. I remember one of the first times that I did trick or treating when we moved to Alberta when I was 8, 7, something like that. And one of the first things that I wanted to be when I was trick or treating was a Roman senator. So my mom made me this little 8-year-old size toga that was just perfect, except I had to wear it over top of my white snowsuit. So it really didn't work very well because it was a white toga on top of a white snowsuit in the middle of a snowdrift. So many people thought I was a snowman. It wasn't even funny. That was very...
You know, that explains so much about you that at 8 years old you want to be a Roman senator. I'm surprised you stopped there. In high school, were you going for, like, Augustus Caesar or something?
No. I don't know. I never really bought into the whole trick-or-treating thing, though. I mean...
It's socialist redistribution of
No, it's voluntary, though. That's not socialist.
It is not.
It absolutely
it's
so
under the
is.
threat of violence.
Definitely not.
I don't know. I don't give candy out, and I've never been physically violated, or... Right? I mean, yeah, that's never happened. Right?
You get scorned by the cultural...
Well, one year in our old complex, we put out a bowl of candy, like a giant Tupperware salad bowl of it, and because we were going out, and every year we'd been home and we'd given out candy, so we figured, well, we'll put the bowl of candy out and put a little sign that said, please take 1 or 2 or whatever. And we came home at about 11 o'clock, and not only was all the candy gone, but they stole the bowl and the stool that it was on too. So I'm wondering, you know, which kid is like, there's no chocolate bars here. Well, I'm gonna take this 20-liter salad bowl home. Then.
It'll be the helmet for my next year's costume.
That's karma for you, Will.
I don't know.
Well, the following year we didn't do it. We just hid in the basement.
Well, considering the kids in your neighborhood.
Well, in our new place even, there's very few that show up. It's really weird. So like, you always end up overbuying and you're waiting, and there's a wave of them that comes, and then that's about it. And then you're stuck with all this chocolate and stuff.
Stuck.
Like, stuck.
Yeah.
Okay, my colon is stuck with all this chocolate and stuff.
I don't know. See, I mean, like, even when... Like, I lived at the same house in Edgemont for 6 or 7 years, and we never did Halloween, and never once did anything happen. Never once did we even have anybody, like, dinging the doorbell or singing at our door or any of that stuff. Halloween is, like...
I think it's dying
Well,
out.
I guess kind of it is. I mean...
I think parents are really taking their kids to malls or planned events and whatnot. And you know, for the caliber of the remaining kids, I say, like, last year, there was some kid rang on my doorbell, and he's like, trick or treat, so I open up the door, and he looks at me and goes, give me candy. And I just wanted to say, no. But
Oh, I completely deny kids like that.
I capitulated.
Well, see, the thing is there's some kids that just shouldn't be trick-or-treating as well. I mean, to me, trick-or-treating should be something that, like, toddlers and pre-adolescents are doing with their parents, right? When you see a gaggle of, like, 16, 17-year-old kids wandering around, like, you're supposed to be at a house party getting drunk and fucked for the first time, alright? Don't be coming to my door demanding a Tootsie Roller.
Give out condoms.
Yeah, right. I remember there's a movie that I saw where somebody was saying that they don't give out candy, they give out healthy treats, and they had, like, little bags of carrots or something.
Right.
I remember that. I don't know.
Thomas baked cookies one year. That didn't go over very well. I remember when I was trick-or-treating, I'd get sometimes, like, religious tracts. It would be like a Tootsie Roll, and stapled to it would be, you know, God is your savior, little postcard type thing.
I never got any of that stuff. But
At least God brought me diabetes.
Yeah.
I remember, I never really did much trick-or-treating, I don't think. But I mean, it was when I was a little kid, so maybe I just don't remember. What I do remember was my parents taking all the candy afterwards and hiding it, and You know, always made me suspicious that they were snacking on my candy. Because they were always like, don't worry, we'll take it, make sure that it's safe, and if you want some, just ask us and we'll get some for you. Because, of course, you don't want, you know, a 10-year-old, 7-year-old kid to have access to, you know, a pound of candy because they'll eat it all in one night. So? I think they're attempting to ration it, but you know, even back as a little kid, I am now, I've got, you know, I still have, like, chocolate Easter eggs in my desk drawer. Right, from April, that I eat like one a month type thing, right? I mean...
Are those like those Cadbury eggs?
Cadbury eggs.
Oh, okay, well, they're not real chocolate.
I love well, they're actually caramel eggs. I don't like the Cadbury because they're too sweet. The caramel is tasty, though.
It's the same company.
I had hives the next day. The first night I had the kind of power that you're describing.
What?
The kind of power... You have an interesting way... He's talking about the first time he got to eat his own candy.
Oh.
Yeah, the first time I had complete control over my own candy. I was snacking it all night and I woke up with hives.
Oh. Well, that's so right. I don't know. I've just never really been a big candy person, so, like, I went and bought a bag of gummy frogs. Like, in April, and it's still half full in my bag, in my drawer.
Nice.
Right, I mean...
Well, how old are you?
Well, I mean, it's been a pattern through my entire life, though. I was born in 1946.
Huh.
It's a pattern of my entire life.
Definitely
I've never been a big candy, cookie, pastry type eater. I've always gravitated towards the fat. I've always been a cheeseburger and bacon, and, you know, that's where I tend to glam.
I was definitely the potato chip guy. I love the potato chips. It seemed like a custom which flavor of potato chips I would get in the grocery store. It's the only thing I hope for, actually.
I remember when Old Dutch started with the chip with the dip built in.
Really?
People don't realize that flavored chips were like an Alberta invention.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Speaking of Old Dutch, you know, it's really sad to see how there aren't many Canadian companies, even such as Old Dutch, for example. Amazing chips, amazing potato chips. They managed to do it without any sort of, like, MSG or whatever. But it's so sad to see that how little Canadian companies have taken advantage of this globalization thing of, like, expanding outside the borders into other areas of the world. Or even on top of that, the fact that not many people actually trust Canadian companies to have the capabilities of doing that. And it's sad.
Well, Old Dutch has been out of business for years, though, right?
Well, the brand itself.
Yeah.
You can still buy Old Dutch chips.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Where do you shop?
Where?
Safeway. You get them in the
Are
box.
you certain?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Old Dutch
Old Dutch
went out of business back in like 2006. Or they were sold off, because they used to be owned by Hostess, weren't they? And now Hostess is done for, too.
No.
Uh-oh. No, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Old Dutch is not... I repeat, it's not a Canadian company, and I made a mistake, and I'm sorry. I take that back. But it's not out of business.
Okay.
It wasn't owned by Hostess.
I don't see Old Dutch tips anywhere.
They're everywhere. They're in Safeway, Co-op, and Superstore. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. Ducky doesn't go into, what do we call them? Oh, food
Do you only
stores.
grocery shop at 7-Eleven?
No, I don't grocery shop at all.
Okay, that's fair.
He picks up a phone and his food comes to him.
Not always. Most of the time I steal it.
Sorry?
Most of the time I steal it from the garbage.
Yeah. Anyways, Canada has flavors that have been invented in Canada, like ketchup, all dressed, and stuff like that. That's what I mean. That's what I meant, actually. I came to that.
We need to take the world by storm with our ketchup chips.
Yeah, exactly. Look,
Well, I mean, Lay's just did a Canadian version of pick your flavor favorite or whatever, and I don't know about you, but they're all pretty gross. The only one that's even passable is the Caesar salad, but...
I loved the macaroni and cheese and ketchup. That was good.
You mean the grilled cheese?
Grilled cheese, yeah.
That didn't taste like cheese or ketchup. It just tasted like spice.
Whatever, man. I liked it.
I couldn't stand it. And the maple mousse? Like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? Like, is it supposed to taste like moose meat? Because I've had moose meat. It doesn't taste like moose meat. It doesn't even taste like maple. Unless it's like tree bark. Here, have a crumbled maple leaf. That's what it tastes like.
Now, here's an interesting fact. Old Dutch potato chips are manufactured in Calgary.
Oh, really?
And their corn chips are extruded in Airdrie.
No way.
Yeah.
For the entire country?
So there you go. For the entire country.
I didn't know that.
Well, except for in Eastern Canada, they're called Humpty Dumpty, and they have their own.
Oh, fucking Eastern Canada.
I don't think.
But for Western Canada and the U.S., it's all made in Calgary.
You know, because I miss their Dutch
Okay.
Crunch. Their Dutch Crunch chips. The Mesquite Barbecue Dutch Crunch.
That was good.
Still have them. Try walking into a Safeway or Co-op sometime. You know what's really deadly, though? Are Lay's potato chips. They are a frickin' fire hazard.
Same with Doritos.
Like, seriously, if you're ever camping and, it's raining or whatever, and you don't have a fire starter, or your kindling's wet, or you're just, want to, like, freak people out, just throw a couple of Lay's potato chips on there, and they'll go up. There's so much oil in them. Or just throw the whole frickin' bag on, but, like, step back about 10 feet. Because they will burn, and they burn a long time.
Well,
I burn you long time.
like I said before, I tend to avoid Lay's and go forward with Old Dutch because at least they have more agreeable ingredients. And Doritos are definitely not something I want to have in my possession. I used to make the seasonings for all these companies, and it was Doritos that was probably the most disgusting. And I probably shouldn't talk about this because
Non-disclosure agreement?
confidentiality.
Yeah.
No, well, I don't know. I'll say it anyway. There was in the machine, like for the seasonings, we get the order for like the thing, and they probably wouldn't tell you what it is, but somewhere within the lines you could sort of tell what kind of seasoning you're making for what product, So like I know it's Doritos, and I'd be taking like the order, and like it asks for like get salt and get the garlic powder, the onion powder, the milk powder, and then you get the MSG, and that's like, and those bags of MSG were fucking heavy, and so many of them, and just dumping all that MSG in there, and you're like, that is not going inside me. Anyway, I'm probably gonna get sued for whatever, libel or whatever, or slander.
Well, I'm sure Pepsi has a better thing to do than listen to our podcast and track us down.
But,
Well, it'd be funny if they did, because I love Pepsi. Pepsi's my favorite. I was raised on Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
I was getting in a fight with all my roommates because my roommates are all Coke drinkers, and I'm like, enjoy your acid. I'll take sugar over acid any day.
Hey man, Coke is they did this experiment, right? They did the Coke and Pepsi thing.
Well, they've been doing that since the 80s.
Well, no, they like this other thing did the experiment, right? And they discovered that while Pepsi was chosen the best amongst its participants, just the shot itself. But if you take a bottle of it, as a long-term appeal, Coke fared far better than Pepsi as a long-term investment sort of thing in flavor.
I much prefer Pepsi.
I used to work for Black's Photography, like
years ago. I remember that. That was like 1995.
And for those of you who don't know, that isn't a racist statement. That's actually the name of the company. Because I've had people just kind of give me weird looks. What do you mean you used to? Because I always just tell people I work for Blacks, and they would just look at me like, what? I used to work for Astral, and then Astral got purchased by Blacks. But yeah, anyway, so we would just say we work for Blacks, because back then everybody knew what Blacks was.
See what I mean about Canadian companies and not reaching out in the global spectrum? Anyway, sorry.
Well, no Telus owns them. Yeah. But anyway, why a phone company owns a photo retailer, who knows? But I remember one night we were really slow, and I took a couple of strips of processed but unexposed film, and I laid them out on the glass countertop, and I did I poured a line of Pepsi on the emulsion, and a line on a separate film strip of Coke, and I let it sit for about 25 minutes, half an hour, and when I came back I picked up the Pepsi one, and it had completely bleached the plastic, taking all the chemicals right off of it. It was completely see-through. I picked up the Coke one, and the plastic had actually melted to the glass.
Yeah, it's because Coke is heavily carbonated, and when you take that carbon dioxide and you put it in water, it becomes carbolic acid, right? So the heavier carbonation you have, the more acidic it is. And that's why I've never liked Coke. That's why you always talk about, if you put a steel nail in a bottle of Coke, it'll dissolve away over time, right? It's because the acid is so strong. I mean, it's nothing compared to what's already in your stomach naturally, right? But I just don't like the flavor, right? Because it tastes like burning, so.
Tastes like burning?
Yes. Tastes like burning, so.
You think that's why it goes well with rum?
I don't know. See, I drink rum, and I always mix it with Pepsi.
Pepsi. I always drink it with Pepsi.
I never contaminate my rum with dirty Coke.
Oh,
Didn't they used to clean this whole cleaning streets with Coke?
No.
Oh, there's a lot of urban legends surrounding Coke and Pepsi, right? So, I mean, I don't know what to know as true or false, or what to think about any of that stuff. All I know is, if I try to drink Coke, I can't. I just, it's repulsive to me. But I mean, I don't drink a lot of pop in the first place. I mean, it's funny, like I cracked open a can of Bart's root beer, and it took me like 3 hours to drink it. So, but yes.
I have one of those soda streams.
But yeah.
So we drank a lot.
Yeah, I suppose if I had an in-house fountain machine, it might be different, but I don't know. But, as contrast, this, that big giant big gulp mug that I have, that's like 1.8 liters or whatever.
You could kill somebody with that
Yeah,
thing.
it's filled with water, and I drink one of those like a day. Right? I filled it up before I went to bed, and it's empty already.
Right.
Which really sucks, because I'm in a room that's about 35 degrees.
Hey, you know what I think? I think we should have a soundscape.
Oh, okay.
And then maybe come back and talk about something for the two people who are still listening.
Talk about something important, like Syria!
I've never, to be perfectly frank, I've never cared for old people. Most of them, I just feel that basically they take up space, a lot of space that people could use. I feel that once you've lost your intelligence or your senses, that you should give yourself up. You should just go off someplace and die. They should have a place for old people. Put them off there. Because they move too slow. And sometimes you walk in and it's crowded, and usually the people who are causing the jam up are old people. They can't drive. All they want to do anyway is just sit in the sun on a park bench. I mean, I'm not in favor of killing them, but there should be some way we could get rid of them. You know what I mean? Just get rid of them nicely. No blood. Something. Just get rid of them. I've never been too tickled with kids either, because most of them don't understand what life is about. I've lived life and I know what it's about. Young people they're always screaming for things, that they want things. They want this and they want that, and they can't even handle it. They haven't lived anything. But you find a place for them. I mean, off to the side till they grow up, and then let them out. You don't have to put them, you don't have to make any blood or anything. Just put them off till they know what it's all about. Never cared for Jews either. Pain in the neck. All of them. Haven't met one yet that wouldn't walk right up to you and tell you he's a Jew. I don't want to hear that. Make no difference to me that you're a Jew. Why are you a Jew anyway? In the first place, you just want to cause trouble. Let somebody know that you're something. I don't care. They got all the money anyway. Loan sharks, all of them. Jews, no good. Brag about their holidays. Want to tell you about, well, we had a bris for this, we had a bris for that. Pain in the neck. All of them. They should get rid of them. I mean, they shouldn't, no blood or nothing like that, but just get rid of them. Them niggers is a pain in the neck, too. All of them. Blackies. Now, damn revolution, they come around, want you to call them black. I don't call them black. I call them just as I see them. Niggers. When I see one, I let them know I don't like them. I spit. Tooey. Not one of them's got a job. Every one of them's on welfare, begging the country. And then demanding this, demanding that, marching down, littering up Washington, D.C. Littering it up. I watched them on TV. I spit on the TV set. Niggers. They should get rid of them. I mean, you don't have to cause bloodshed or nothing like that, because I'm against bloodshed. But just get rid of them. Put them someplace where you can't hear them yelling and begging, because they don't have anything. And if you give them something, they just dirty it up. Don't like Irish either. Pain in the neck. Drink all the time. Never seen an Irishman yet didn't have a big red nose from drinking. And always want to be in charge of the law. Arrest you. Hit you in the head with a club. Sure and begorra. Bonk, hit you right in the head. I don't like them. Bring their damn religious beliefs over here and clutter up everything. You should get rid of them. Get rid of St. Paddy's Day, too. Who needs St. Paddy? He wasn't no cop. Send them off, you know? Just put them someplace. Get them out of the way. They're a pain in the neck. Trying to get in the unions. Try to do this. Try to do that. Even had a president. Pain in the neck. I didn't vote for him, because that's what he was. I saw him for what he was. Irish. And I know he's probably drunk in the White House. Drink too much. Them Italians, they're going tomorrow. Every one of them. Them Italians. They don't do nothing. In first place, I don't like the food. Second place, they're just the worst bunch of gangsters you ever want to meet. I haven't met an Italian yet. Wasn't a gangster. want to run your business, get you out in the street and sell you dope. Hate them, all of them. Every place they go, always talking about their mother, how wonderful she was. Hell, if she's that wonderful, how come you're a criminal? Haven't seen an Italian born yet, wasn't born right in the jail. And you should get rid of them, all of them. Put them off someplace. No, they don't cause no blood. Just gather them up. You're Italian? Yes. Boom. Put them someplace. There's places for them. They don't have to be here. The Mexicans, we get rid of them today. They ain't worth nothing. Sneaking across the border every 5 minutes. Here they come, sneaking across the border, sneaking across the border. Can't speak English and begging for a job. Take up all the good jobs. Mexicans got all the good jobs. You see them out there. We give them good jobs in the first place because we felt sorry for them. Had them out there picking grapefruits and what do you call that stuff? Grapes. Who's out there with a job? Now they're on strike. Don't want to work. Want to make something for nothing. Get rid of all of them. They ain't no good. Never have been no good. Mexicans. They tried to kill us off anyway. Tried to have a war, but we got them. Good. And the Scottish people come over here. Ain't worth a nickel. Cheap. Every one of them. You can't get a Scotchman to give you a penny. Can't get him to give you a half a penny without charging you interest. Walk around with funny clothes. I mean, I got nothing against them, but they're just a pain in the neck. And you can forget them Puerto Ricans. 700 of them living in one room. I don't understand them. And they're all screaming and begging. Every one of them. You can hear them all every time. Give us something, give us something, give us something. Hell, I worked for what I've got. Worked hard. Started out when I was 3 years old. I worked hard for what I got. With these hands, I've built things, reared things, brought them up, understood what they were. Nobody taught me nothing. I look around, I see these people begging. I can see right away. As soon as I see a colored man coming to me, I know he's going to beg for something. That's why I spit when I see him. I see old people coming. I know they're going to slow things down. That's why I spit when I see them coming. I see young people. I know right away they want to smoke dope. They got long hair. I don't give them a chance. I just spit. Scottish, Irish, Jews, Puerto Rican, Mexican. What is America coming to? Anyway, they let the Japs in. Now, anybody with sense knows, see, the Japs, first of all, they flew in here and tried to take over. Now, we had them where they should have been. Had them locked up with a fence around them. You know what I mean? They was in there, had the fence around them, and that's where they're supposed to be, because then they, if you don't lock them up, then they get in them planes again and come right back and do the same thing again. No, they turn them loose. Now they got restaurants, they're making money, making TV sets, radios. They got more money than I got. Japs. I don't let one of them work on my garden. No place. And them other people, their cousins or what, Chinese can't use them. Now we're fighting them right now, and now's the time to collect them. They don't do nothing, they just hide every place, but there's always one someplace. I mean, you can go someplace, you can go to Albuquerque and find a Chinaman. Got his own restaurant. They got money. They don't pay taxes. I've never seen a Chinaman yet paid no taxes. And I'm not sending my clothes to none of them. Nowhere. Because I've never seen a Chinaman smile. You never see them smile. They're arrogant and they look at you like you're supposed to bring your shirt there, and that's why I don't bring it. When I see them, I just spit. Now's the time you could collect all of them, the Japs and the Chinks, and put them in the thing. I mean, you don't have to, no bloodshed or nothing like that, because I'm against it. Just put them off to the side, put the fence around it. See, you could have them all there. You could get them Irish, you could get them Italians, you could get the Mexicans, them Puerto Ricans, and the niggers, pardon me, you could get the colored, and the Scottish, and put all of them in there, see. Now, I did have a friend who was of Polish extraction, but he's so damn dumb, I didn't know what to do with him. So I just told him, I said, look, you're all right, but you can't figure nothing out, and you're always wrong when you say something, so just get out, see. I mean, the Polish people have never done me no harm, but if you look at where they live, you know there's something wrong with them. Just look at it. There's squalor and dirt all around wherever they are. So I mean, I have nothing against them at all, but I just think that they need to go too. Get rid of the Polish people and put them off, you see, to a side where they can behave themselves. I've never cared for no Greeks, because that's all they do is they want to throw plates and dance, men dance together. I've never put up with that, never cared for it. All of them need to be put off someplace and make this a better land of peace. Now, as far as I'm concerned, yes, it's true, Indians was here first. But this is survival of the fittest, and Indians wasn't fit. See? I mean, this whole life itself is a game of who has what. Now, if the Indian wanted to keep his land, he should have got a gun instead of a bow and arrow and riding bareback. See, he should have got himself a cavalry and some tanks and things. But, you see, they didn't have sense enough to do that, so they lost. Now, that's it. Indians, quit begging. And the next thing is they can't handle liquor, so they got no business being here in America anyway. If they just be quiet and just leave things alone, I could give them something every now and then. But I've never been in favor of them, no place, because they're weak people. And when you figure it out, it is survival of the fittest. If you cannot protect what's yours and I want it, if you lose to me, that's it. Indians, forget it. Need to just put them off someplace. Now, I've been to the South, and I've seen it, and it's pitiful, all of it. I haven't seen a Southerner that wasn't ignorant yet. All of them, black, white, green, red, every Southerner, ignorant, talk slow, got a drawl and do all this. I can't understand a thing they're saying. They don't have no heavy industry down there. I don't wear no cotton. I smoke tobacco, but that don't come from the South. And they always want to wave a flag, talking about the South shall rise again. Survival of the fittest. You lost, you'll lose again. Not rise again, you'll lose again. They need to take all them Southerners and just get rid of them, put them off someplace because they're embarrassing. When people come from other countries to visit dignitaries, we try not to show them the South because the people there are just ignorant. Everything about them's ignorant. They yell loud and drink too much. And you go across here to the Midwest, and that's embarrassing. All Midwesterners, embarrassing people. Nothing but Bibles. God this, God that, Jesus this, Jesus that. That's all they believe in. And ain't nothing there. Ain't nothing there in the Midwest. People don't know nothing about nothing except going to tent meetings. That's all they know about. Afraid to face reality. You say something about the Bible, they jump right up and want to hurt you or something. See, them violent people. Talk about the Bible and want to be violent. That's no way to live. They should take them and put them off someplace. I mean, don't shed no blood or nothing like that. The Easterners just as bad. Worse. Greatest sinners in the world. Got cities just jammed up, people yelling and screaming at each other. I couldn't live there. I wouldn't even never go there. Overcharge you for everything. Say, this is good, that's good. The air is bad. They got nothing but smog forever. You can't breathe. They got the niggers running half of the cities. The Italians are running half of it. The Irish running the other half, and the Polish is running the other half, and the Scottish running it, and the Irish and the Puerto Ricans is running it. Mexicans running these cities, and look at them. Squalor, dirt, and filth. That's all that's there. Go on up there in New England, people up there just living the same way as when they landed at Plymouth Rock. Some of them don't even have sense enough to know how to drive. Don't have cars. Just all want to pay attention to their religion. Religious this, religious that. You got to be a man, get up and live. Now, I've got nothing against Jesus. I've got nothing against God. All I say is you shouldn't be so dependent upon him. I did this with my own hands. I did it myself. I didn't ask nobody for nothing, and I don't need it. You don't need, we need to get rid of women too. Now, there's all right for a while. But lately, I've been reading what they're saying. And I don't need them. I don't need no woman to have me washing dishes or watching the baby. Things of that nature. No, indeed, not me. Now, if a woman wants to be like that, let her go on off. I don't care. I couldn't care less. I mean, if they want to prove something to me, let one of them knock me out. They can't do it. They know they're not as strong as we are. What is it that they want? Now, they was put here to have babies. That's all. Put here to have babies, wash dishes. I'll go out and make the money and bring it in if I feel like it. But see, I did all this with my hands. Ain't a woman yet can put up a building. I know that. They can't build nothing. How's a woman going to run something? How's a woman going to be president of the United States? Somebody say, we're at war, she start to cry. So they need to take them. Them that don't want to have babies, them that feel embarrassed because man wants to take them out and say, them that says that they're not pieces of flesh. No, they're not pieces of flesh. But if I want to take one out, I'm going to take her out. I buy the dinner. She didn't pay for it. I expect something in return. I'd give them whatever they want, but I ain't going to give them all that. Need to put them aside. All them crazy women. Need to get rid of everybody. Clean this country up. What this country needs is a good flushing out. Flush it away from all these people, all of them, all the groups, begging, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. Say, act like the country is God or Jesus. Oh, give me this. Oh, give me that. And then you look around and ain't one of them willing to work for nothing. Niggas ain't willing to work. Jews don't want to work for it. And when they do get something, they want to keep it. And them Puerto Ricans, Mexican, all of them, you can get rid of every single one of them. I couldn't care less. Now, I don't want to do these people no harm. I wouldn't do them no harm. But I know one thing. When I see them, I spit. And give a good spit, too. 'Cause ain't none of them worth nothing. Not one single one. And that's why I'm proud to be what I am. I'm what? I'm a bigot. There ain't but two of us left. And I don't care for him.
Just when you were saying Syria, all of a sudden I had the song Gloria pick in my head, like, Syria, Syria, you're always on the run now. Syria, Syria. No, anyway.
I think I heard that song before.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask you,
Yeah.
when you worked at Black's, like how intimate were you with the other people's photographs?
I used to rub them across my body before I gave it to them. It was that personal touch. We you know.
The Blacks, that's why they're kind of sticky sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you take it to Japan camera and they just print it out and they don't care,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But no, at Black's we were God, I could tell stories about Black's. One of the things that we did is we had the perfect print guarantee, right? So we had to print every frame on a roll of film, but we only charged you for ones that met our quality standards. So if you sucked at taking pictures, you could bring in like a roll of film, and we may only charge you for like 3 or 4 prints, but you got them all back. And we would just have little stickers on them that would say like, guarantee, 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 and you could take those stickers off and give them to people. So that was always kind of nice. But yeah, no, we were responsible right from like, we'd show up in the morning and warm up the lab. We had to balance the chemistry, make sure that the lights and the machines were properly warmed up and balanced and corrected. And so it was a very hands-on, high-quality control environment. And we saw everything.
Yeah. Do you have anything interesting to say about that?
Well, sometimes people would bring in nude photos, or nude rolls, rather, and have them printed as photos. Our policy was we didn't have to print anything that we were uncomfortable having printed. One of the weird exceptions to that was child pornography. We actually had to print it and call the RCMP or the city police so that they could arrest the person when they showed up, and then they had the evidence.
What kind of moron would do that?
Well, I worked there for a number of years, and you'd be surprised. So
Really? You had many instances of child pornography?
a couple.
Well, keep in mind that a lot of this time it's back before the days of the internet, right? So, and digital photography and stuff. Right, so, I mean, not everybody had projector, developing studio in their backyard, right? So.
Right.
So
Well, the C41 process is quick and fast, right? So you can't, it doesn't develop the same as black and white. It's a completely different process. So home labs, if you would buy the kits and everything, you'd be developing black and white. But if you're shooting on color film, then you have to do it through a C41 process.
Yeah, but you wouldn't, like, what kind of moron would go and think that taking it to a photo lab, they wouldn't be caught on for suspicion?
Who knows? It was rare, but it happened. And then, of course, you had the ones where,
accused of being the smartest of people, though, so.
Yeah, and then you'd have the people that would, like, take nude photos of their kids, and...
What, like babies splashing in the bathtub type nude photos, or like,
yeah,
or like peep
teenage,
show
not
cams
teenagers, but...
of your teenage stepdaughter. I mean,
sometimes it would be, like, spanking your kid type of thing, or whatever. It was weird. So sometimes in the lab there were discussions of, okay, like, does this cross the line, or do we need to call the police, or whatever, but that was really, really rare. More often than not, people would come in and it would be adult pornography we'd be dealing with, and a lot of the time, you could tell when people walked in, because they were shy. It was like, they wanted to sell it to you type of thing. They were waiting for people to clear out of the store, they were whispering, kind of shifty. When I worked for Astral, all of Astral's labs were encased in glass and at the front of the store, so people could see us printing. So we really appreciated it when people told us that there was pornography, so that we could cover up the photo ejector where it cuts it and it goes down the little tray and whatnot, because that part was actually facing out into the mall, displaying those photographs for everyone to see. Which nowadays would probably be some sort of FOIA violation, but back then it was kind of a neat little thing. And if we didn't catch it, if you weren't paying attention, then you could be printing pornography and displaying it to all passers-by. And when you're doing a couple hundred rolls of film a day, you're not even necessarily paying attention for content, right? You're looking at contrast and tone and whatnot, and you're doing the math in your head and rebalancing the colors and everything, and you're just kind of, it becomes very mechanical, or very repetitive, if you will. So you may not notice it. But anyway, I remember this one time at Astral, this guy came in, and my manager said, she was a girl, and she said, I'm gonna leave, and you need to talk to this guy. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. So she left the store, and then he came up to the counter, and so quiet and everything, and he's like, so, like, do you print nudies? I'm like, what? He's like, nudies. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I can print them. And he's like, and I'm not going to get in trouble for that? I'm like, well, no, I appreciate that you told me. I'll cover up the machine, and I'll be discreet, and nobody will see anything. He's like, okay.
So why did she leave, though?
Because he was uncomfortable with the idea of a woman knowing that he had pornography, right?
How?
And this was a very common thing, believe it or not.
Did he tell her that to leave the store, or did he?
No. She just kind of picked up on it. So you do this long enough, you can read your customers, right?
Oh, that seems...
Especially when they're acting all shifty and whatnot.
See, I've never understood the shame that's attached to pornography. Like...
Well, I'm not done my story here. The best part is coming. So I'm sitting there and I'm printing. And they're in a hotel room and it's badly lit and everything else. And you can't really see much of anything, which is probably a good thing because oftentimes people who are taking... Anyway.
No judgments, man! No judgments!
I printed them off and my manager came and checked them out and, quality control and whatnot. And we charged them for like a handful because most of them didn't turn out. And I don't know if I should repeat this, but I will. So he comes back in about an hour later to pick up the pictures, and she's like, oh yeah, here you go. And he's kind of all embarrassed that, it's a woman and she knows and whatnot, and he looks at me and he goes, so how did they come out? And my boss looked at him and said, next time you're fucking your girlfriend, turn the lights on. Because everything was backlit, right? So you couldn't see anything. And he just, his completely dropped, ran out of the store, didn't even pay for the photos, just took them and off he went. But yeah. So... But you'd get weird things. I actually missed that job. I really enjoyed that. That was 3 years of my life where I totally, every single day, enjoyed going into work.
Yeah, not very many people can say that.
You get a glimpse in people's lives, and, we focused on training, so we show people how to use their cameras and give them tips on how to correct their whatever photography errors they were making and whatnot. So, yeah. I don't know if that answered your question, but thank you for the trip down memory lane. Yeah. Although I did see some people, because we had the discretion of whether or not we could print, I knew this one particular girl, whenever she was printing, and if there were pictures, if they were homosexual nudes, she would discard them. But she wouldn't do it for straight people, and that always pissed me off.
Like one of your coworkers or your manager?
Yeah. No, one of my coworkers.
Really?
And there's nothing I can do about it. When you're assigned to the lab, you're the god of the lab for the day.
That sucks.
Right? So, if she would have said to me, I don't want to do this, can you print? I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'm printing. But when I saw her throwing it out, I said to her, what are you doing? And she's like, well, these are just disgusting. There's no way these are leaving my lab. And I'm like...
You don't get to make a value judgment of that kind of stuff, though.
Thank God for digital cameras, because people like her have gone away.
No, they haven't. No, now they're admissions officers to the colleges instead.
Okay, that never actually happened. But why don't you give people some...
No, let's talk about Syria. I've only got about 10 minutes before I gotta go, guys. So...
You want to talk about Syria in 10 minutes?
Yes, don't go into Syria, the end.
Okay. I was just reading an article about this couple that went to Syria for a honeymoon. That's
like when?
Just recently.
Why?
For a honeymoon.
Yeah, but why would you go to Syria for a honeymoon?
Why Syria?
I don't know, because that's where they're kind of from,
The local government is releasing chemical weapons onto the population. That sounds like a great place to go.
Hey, you know what? I was looking for research on this, and that's what popped up, so don't look at me. Look at Ducky, for bringing this topic up.
I blame Google for giving you that story. It's the Google's fault!
It turns out the British actually supplied the phosphorus and fluoride and whatnot to the Syrian government. So they granted them export licenses to Syria. So all the components for it came from Britain.
Yeah.
It was government sanctioned. They didn't know that was the intended use, they say, but I'm not questioning that. I don't think anyone's going to go, yes, chemical warfare, let's propagate it. I don't think that's happening. But...
I wonder how that's going to sound on Chipmonkey Mode.
I don't know.
But
one thing I've been wanting to do for a couple of weeks is just like do it anyway.
It's about as high as I can go without my head splitting open.
That's gonna hurt people, dude. What the hell? I can't believe you guys are talking like that.
Shut up, Will.
Okay, so I think we'll just call this an early one because obviously we have not too much to say and it's only degrading from here. So thank you for spending the last hour with us, ladies and gentlemen, and the NSA. It was great having you around. And
hello,
I think...
Okay, I'm done. Go on, Will.
No, that's cool. Any final thoughts? And oh, hey, look, user 9761980 is following us on SoundCloud. Thank you, user 9761980.
Unimatrix01, tertiary adjunct.
Oh, sorry, it was user 9761980, not user 9761894. I didn't want to get that confused.
Goodbye, 8940.
Welcome, 9840. Thank you for following us.
So Eve released a new expansion.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you guys know anything about EVE Online, it's basically an internet spaceship game. But the way their entire ship structure used to be designed, you have a basic ship, and then you get a better ship, and then you have the best ship type thing. It was a progressional tier of ships. So when you had the skills to fly the better ships, the lesser ships became obsolete pretty much to you. And they wouldn't be able to compete with the better ships. About 2 years ago, they started doing what they call the Syria-sly endeavor, which is basically they're converting all the ships away from the sort of, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 type classifications and are splitting them instead into roles. So they're specializing. So now your tier 1 ships aren't tier 1 anymore, they're like, combat ships, and your tier 2 ships aren't better than tier 1 ships because there's no tier ships. They're not combat ships, but they're recon ships, right? They're attack ships. They go really fast and hit really hard but don't have any defenses. And yeah, so...
I don't mean to be rude, but I kind of stopped caring.
Yeah. Well, they just released the new patch, Audacity 101. It's got all the industrials rebalance. So if you play EVE and you were sick of having to grind through, 2 months worth of training to get to a Galente Iteron 5, you now don't have to because the Iteron 5 doesn't exist anymore.
I think you just made that up.
No.
That sounds like you made
Quiet.
that up.
What floats in space has big guns and goes, bah! A battleship.
Bah! A
Battleship.
Oh, my lord. Well, to our audience, I thank you so much for listening to this. I know the last couple of episodes have been pretty random. We do actually have structured discussions where we've done research and so on and so forth in the schedule. They will just happen
When people
at a
show
later
up.
date. Part of the problem is it is back to school right now, and, a large part of our cast is from Mount Royal University, either professors or otherwise, or other institutions here in Calgary. So that's really kind of made it very, very difficult to get people to come on and think coherently, because everyone wants to get their textbooks and parking and bus passes and, yay, oh my god, back to school! Except for me, and except for Ducky, because we're neither of us are in school this semester. So.
Well, I haven't been in semester or in school for 8 years. When I was moving, I actually found a little plastic cube with a stick on the end of it with a little roach clip at the top for holding stuff. That was from Mount Royal.
Mount Royal gave out roach clips?
Well, it was like a roach clip on the end of a stick that was stuck into a plastic cube that was the base. And I guess it was designed as sort of a weird kind of picture frame or note holder or something like that, because you used to put pictures or letters or pieces of paper or something in the clip, and then you would set it on your desk, and it would hold the piece of paper up for you.
Yeah, I'm sure most students used it for roaches, though. Yeah.
I didn't.
You're back in school, right, Nick?
Yeah,
this semester?
Tomorrow.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, say hi to everybody.
Who's everybody?
He's like, no.
Everybody's gone.
Screw people.
Tom's gone, Ro's gone.
Yeah. A lot of people fled to other institutions. A lot of people run to SAIT or UBC, or the family's been broken up, but that's fine. Ro and Tom have been on, and they'll be back to Hardly Qualified as well. So, but again, thank you all, and this is my 4th attempt to end this Chatterfest and Squeakfest, I guess. So we will do that, and seeing us out is Maury Van Loon, better known by her stage name Fall, is a fast-growing Dutch musician and composer, and is known for her unique sounds. So can you tell that that was a script? But seriously, she's got some cool stuff on SoundCloud, and we're going to link to it. So, but here's Reset the World.
Goodbye, audience.
Bye-bye.
8940 Alpha Missile.
Alpha, Epsilon.
Tertiary adjunct of Unimatrix 01.
All right. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to Hardly Qualified. Remember to check the website at hardlyqualified.ca for news, updates, references, and to learn how to support the podcast. Please review and rate us in iTunes after each episode to help get the word out. If you're a Facebook user, like us and share with your friends and enemies at facebook.com/hardlyqualified, where you can also join in on the conversation. A special thanks to the artists who have donated music to the podcast. We greatly appreciate your work. As always, artists may be found in each episode's reference section. Again, thanks for listening, and remember, knowledge starts with questions. Don't fear them. We'll see you next week.